Welcome to the Medical Hub, and in this particular series, I want us to begin looking at personal branding. It's an important topic, especially if you're just beginning your career or you're about to finish your studies, your undergraduate studies, and step into the job market or internship. This is a critical topic or area that you will want to pick interest in just to understand how do you package yourself for the job market, understanding what is personal branding and why it really matters for you as a graduate, especially in the medical space. One of the things that I've noticed in the few years that I've been in the job market, when it comes to personal branding, most medics or medical professionals do not take it with the seriousness that it deserves. And at the end of the day, it ends up injuring their brand in the market and ultimately also how they are perceived and the growth opportunities that come along their way. So, in this particular series, I'll delve deeper into personal branding, especially to medical professionals, and how you can leverage on the same to stand out and grow in your career. And part of the content that I'll cover in this particular video, there'll be a series of or a couple of videos that will come after this. But in this particular video, this highlights some of the things or some of the areas that I'll be able to cover. Number one being what is personal branding, just to get to understand what personal branding is all about. Number two, we look at the common myths about personal branding. Number three, we look at the truth about personal branding. Number four, we look at why it really matters early in your career to take an interest or to pick an interest in personal branding. Number five, we look at real life example of personal branding. And number six, why consistency is key in branding. That's another area that we'll be looking at. And when should you start branding yourself professionally and in other areas of life as well. And also, we'll have a snippet of what is coming next in terms of the series of videos that I've lined up for you. And so we begin the question. And I want you to think about this. You've just graduated, and so, of course, there are thousands of others who've also graduated, and most likely in the same course. I'll take an example of pharmacy because I'm a pharmacist by training. And in my class, we were about 75 who graduated in that particular year. And so all of us have graduated with the same degree. That is Bachelor of Pharmacy. We've spent 5 years in school. We're excited stepping into internship, and thereafter we were to join the job market to begin searching for opportunities, going for interviews, and trusting God that doors will open so that we begin our career. And I believe you find yourself in such a situation, or already you found yourself in such a situation before, or you're about to get into that particular space. Everyone has a degree. Everyone is sending in job applications, of course. When they come across the job adverts on LinkedIn and whichever place, the job boards, they're sending in applications. And we have recruiters on the other side who are looking at stacks of CVs every single day. After the applications, they are going through the CVs, pages upon pages, flipping them, reading them. And the question is, what will make them remember you, even as they go through the motion of sifting through and shortlisting candidates? What is it that will make them remember you and make them enlist you or shortlist you for that particular interview? That's where personal branding comes in. And that's why you should pick an interest in understanding how you'll build your brand or how you can build your brand to stand out. And so, what is personal branding? How do you define personal branding? It is not just about logos or fancy websites. Of course, you've seen that online, people talking about having a personal website, having your logos to define who you are, but that is not personal branding in entirety. Personal branding is not about logos or fancy website. It's much simpler, of course, but far more powerful. It's much simpler, but far more powerful. It's the story people tell about you when you're not in the room. Is a story that people tell about you when you're not present. Is a story that people tell about you in spaces which you are not present. That is personal branding. How do they perceive you as? What are they able to tell about you in your absence? It's your reputation. It's how people remember you after a meeting, an interview that you've attended, or even a quick conversation that you've just had with someone, maybe in a networking event. How are they able to remember you? Whether you realize it or not, it's important to understand that you already have a brand. Whether you realize it or not, you already have a brand. The only big question that you need to ask yourself is, are you shaping it intentionally or letting others define it for you? Because it's possible to seize control and let others define your brand, let others speak about you, let others define the values that you espouse. It's very much possible. The big question that you need to ask yourself this evening or this morning, whichever place you find yourself in, is, are you shaping it intentionally or are you letting others define it for you? Now, before we go deeper, I would like us to clear up some myths that perhaps you've encountered about personal branding. And of course, you've met a lot of people who think personal branding is only for influencers with big following on social media. Or others, you've met others who believe it's about designing logos and having flashy profiles online on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, talk about all of those social media platforms. And many worry that it's just another word for showing off, which of course it's not. And none of what I've mentioned is true. Personal branding is not about pretending to be someone you're not. Do not make people think of you in a certain way and yet you are not that person that you've painted the picture for them to believe you are. It's about being authentic and intentional with how you show up. That is personal branding. Being authentic and intentional with how you show up, the values you espouse, how you talk, how you dress, everything about you. Being authentic and intentional. Do not paint a picture of who you are not. Do not paint a picture of who you are not. That is not personal branding. So, what's the truth then? Remember, I mentioned everybody has a personal brand, whether you realize it or not. You have a personal brand, whether you know it or not. And I'd ask a question and said, the big question you need to ask is, are you controlling it or you've seized control to other people? Now, the real question is, are you managing it or letting others define it for you? As I mentioned before, personal branding is not just about creating a fake version of yourself. It's not just about painting yourself in a way that you are not. It's not pretending to be, but it's being authentic and being your real self, the values you live by, the values you espouse. It's about showing up consistently and authentically, whether it's online or offline, so that people can know exactly what you stand for and what value you bring in whichever space you find yourself in. In a summary, that is personal branding. It's about showing up consistently and authentically, whether it's online or offline, so that people can have that mental image of you, of what you stand for and what value you bring in whichever space you find yourself in. Now, when you're just starting out, you don't have decades of work experience to rely on. You're just out of school, or you've just completed your internship. You don't have decades of work experience that you can rely on to build your brand. However, employers at that particular stage in your career, they make decisions based on first impressions that they get about you and the potential they see in you. That will help them make a decision whether to retain you after that particular interview or not. And that's where personal branding matters the most. It becomes the bridge between where you are now as a student, as an early career professional in the medical space, just beginning or taking your first step, to where you want to go. That is where personal branding comes in. It acts as that particular bridge that will take you to where you want to go. And that's why you should take it really, really seriously. I want you to picture this. And this is just an example of two graduates who apply for the same job. They've gone on LinkedIn or they've gone on another job board and they've spotted an opportunity that aligns with their area of expertise or training. And so these two graduates apply for the same job. They've studied the same course. Perhaps they've gone for a BPharm degree, Bachelor of Pharmacy degree. They've spent 5 years at the university and they have similar grades. They have a pass or they have a distinction or a credit. But here's where the difference comes in. Let's say we have candidate A who has a polished LinkedIn profile. They share thoughtful posts about their area of expertise and they introduce themselves with confidence. Wherever place they go, in networking events, when they go for interviews, they exude a certain kind of confidence. And then on the other side, we have candidate B who has no online presence and they have a very generic CV that is not customized to that particular role. Who do you think the interviewers will remember? Of course, your answer is as good as mine, and it's very obvious. And this shows the power of personal branding. This shows the power of personal branding. It can help you to secure your entry level job, and that will be a very big leap in beginning the journey of your career. Now, personal branding isn't built overnight. That you have to drill in your mind that personal branding is not something you build overnight. It's not just about a one time update to your LinkedIn profile, as many of us like doing. We just do one post a month, or one post every 2 months, or one post 6 months, or others do one post a year, or a single great conversation that you have in that particular one networking event that you've attended this year. It's not about that. It's about consistency, showing up the same way online and offline. And I'll surprise you, there are many people whose online brand is totally not congruent with their offline brand. Whatever thing they're doing online is totally different. It's misrepresenting their brand and they're not aware about that. So, personal branding is something you build consistently. It's showing up the same way online and offline. If someone knows you online to be person A, they have to know you offline as person A. Your values have to match both online and offline. The posts you make online and the person you are offline in boardrooms have to be on the same page. Align your skills, your actions, your values, and over time, even small actions will add up to a reputation people trust. That consistency of aligning your skills, aligning your actions, aligning the values that you stand for. When you do that consistently, the small actions will add up to a reputation that people can trust. And a common mistake that you should avoid if you're told you want to build your personal brand is waiting until you are more experienced to start building your brand. Even an experience of one day is more than sufficient to put you on the first step to begin building your brand. Do not wait until you have more experience to start building your brand, but begin as soon as today if you haven't begun yet. The earlier you start, the stronger your foundation becomes. And today is the best day you can begin shaping your brand because every action you take is already writing your history. And even as I come to a conclusion of this short presentation on personal branding, I would like to remind you, as I mentioned while beginning that this is just the beginning of this series. And in the next videos, we'll dive deeper into how to know yourself, understanding who you are, how to craft your story, how to build your online presence and also offline presence, how to grow your visibility and influence, and how to use practical toolkits. And I expect by the end of the series that you will have everything you need to stand out as an early career professional. And of course, if you want to dig deeper into personal branding, I've compiled a text-based course that will come in really handy to assist you have a bigger picture and also practical steps on how you can build your brand from zero to something big that you've always dreamed about. You can check on the link that I'll share in the comment section on the description section of this video. Then you can help yourself by getting that content and following through with actionable steps to build your brand. Thank you, and do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that when I put up the next video, you'll be notified in good time. Thank you. See you next time.